In oncology, precision can mean the difference between effective treatment and long-term complications. Lithuanian startup BrachyDose is tackling this challenge with a unique, data-driven solution that measures radiation doses in real time during brachytherapy procedures. By combining smart hardware and predictive algorithms, the team aims to make cancer treatment safer, faster, and more cost efficient, both for patients and for hospitals. Today, I speak with Neringa Shapariene, co-founder and CEO of BrachyDose, about the journey from lab innovation to clinical practice, the challenges of building a medtech company in the Baltics, and how EIT Health's support and participation in the Lithuania Data Pilot Initiative have helped accelerate their progress. Neringa, a warm welcome to Innostars Talks.
Hi, it's nice to be there and thank you for invitation.
Fantastic. So let's start by asking you what really inspired you to develop BrachyDose, and how did you identify the need for a real-time radiation dose measurement solution in brachytherapy?
Well, I was working in many hospitals doing the projects, and my aim was to reduce these radiation cost effects, side effects, radiation side related to injuries. And I've seen in Lithuanian hospitals that there are many people who are suffering from these radiation caused injuries, side effects. They need specific treatment, and we as engineer and myself as a medical physicist, I can do something. I can use my knowledge, my engineering background to help these patients as well, hospital as well, oncology doctors to provide better treatment. So this kind of idea, inspiration came from the real oncology work in the real hospitals, seeing suffering cancer patients.
Mhm. So you claim that brachydose can save, 50% of medical staff time and reduce patient costs by 25%. How do you actually measure these outcomes, and what feedback have you received from hospitals so far?
Well, we work with several hospitals at this moment. It's National Cancer Center in Lithuania, Klaipėda University Hospital, Oncology Hospital here in Kaunas, as well Heidelberg University Hospital, some oncologists and medical physicists in France, in Estonia, Latvia. We did the research, preclinical trial, calculated the costs, calculated the pathway, how the doctor may use the device, at which point it comes in, how can we help and how can we save. So we save the time for oncology hospital doctor in preparation, execution of whole brachytherapy procedure. As well, we help them to save costs for re-sterilization, storing the device, because our device is a single-used, one-time use device.
Mhm. So can you tell us a little bit more about the device itself? How does that work, and when specifically it is used?
Well, it's hardware. It's a hardware combined with a software. So hardware is a flexible sensor in the shape of the tube. We place this sensor before high dose rate brachytherapy procedure into the human body, into the specific organ, which must be safe from radiation. And during the procedure, it collects the data. It measures applied radiation dose, and then after the procedure, it's pulled out, scanned, and doctor gets the result, what specific dose was applied to the healthy organ. And then machine learning algorithms, they help doctor to see what kind of side effects may appear, what solutions they can do to prevent these side effects.
That's very clear. So let's take a sort of broader view. When you think about building a medtech startup, you can see that it's never been easy, and especially hardware. That's even more difficult. Uh, what has been the biggest struggle or challenge in bringing brachydose from the lab to the clinic, to the hospital?
Well, I always hear this, that hardware is hard. It's like usual a title or sentence said by everyone, but for the engineer, for medical physicists, the hardware is the thing we are doing, the thing we are dreamed about to do. So for us, it's like an art and creation and self perspective. So well, if you can just repeat the question, so I don't want to go from very side.
So yeah, the hardware might be, because you've been building a, hardware. That's kind of more interesting, more, well, you would say easier for you. But I'm talking about the general, generally, when you're building a medtech startup, that has always been difficult. So what kind of challenges have you found or faced on your way?
Yeah. Well, the one of the biggest challenges is these regulations, MDR, CE markings, or FDI is not the same as MDR. Different regulations in different markets is one of the challenges to go align with this. Also, the pathway how the startup is developing is much faster and much intense, more intense than the pathway to do the MDR or CE marking. So that's these procedures and these organizations which is helping to do CE marking, they are working in a different pace, a different level. So to adjust all of them or to combine to do everything in this at the same time, startup fast growing stuff with the slow working FDI or CE marking MDR procedures is one of the biggest challenges, and we faced it, and I think that most of the medtech startups faced the same. They can say the same.
And if you are to sort of give some tips to other medtech startups working in in the same domain, so to speak, but also in the same region. If you look at the Baltics, it seems that the Baltics have been developing a bit faster than perhaps the rest of Central and Eastern Europe. Does it make it easier to work in the Baltics, in Lithuania, or maybe not?
Well, from one point of view, it's easier because your organizations are smaller. The government is easier to reach than I may compare to bigger countries as Germany and France. It's much more difficult. From this point of view, it's easier to reach the hospitals, head of departments, key opinion leaders. Um, from the other side, the market is very small comparing to, let's say, Germany, France, United Kingdom, United States. It's much smaller market. It's more difficult sometimes to convince the doctors, to convince hospitals to use your device. So I would say that for other medical device startups, if you are in a very early stage, to find out your pathway, regulatory pathway, find your hospitals, clinics very early, to find out what's really happening in these hospitals, how the healthcare system works. Um, do you really align in this healthcare system? Are there money at all to pay for your solution, for your device, or machine learning or AI?
And any tips that you would give to medtech startups that are sort of starting the way only now?
Well, probably the same. Just find the good partners, find the clinics, hospitals, other stakeholders who are working in a healthcare system. Find out what's going on there and how you can serve them the best. Listen to your client first. They know the best what they need, and they will tell you the way what to do, how to develop the solution to serve them the best.
So when you're speaking about the client, we're usually talking about beneficiaries, and we're also talking about those who are actually paying for the device. So how much how much sort of insights would you like to get from your from the patients, but also from clinics and hospitals that are actually probably paying for the device?
In our case, a patient can't choose the device. themselves. So the hospital chooses it, the hospital buys it. For us, it's important to get the feedback from the cancer patient because of the fixing the bugs, doing this solution more patient friendly, more ergonomic, less risky. So for us, it's also very, very important, even if the patient can't buy it themselves.
Mhm. So how do you sort of balance that, that feedback loop, so to speak? Because you would want to hear from patients
Yeah,
how
yeah.
your device works, and then obviously from the clinics and from hospitals as well.
Well, we work with the several of the cancer associations. They are more related to the treatment after the radiotherapy, X-rays, or anything what's related to radiotherapy, the cancer treatment itself. So we want to know from them what's the pain is, what's their pains are, how do they feel after the treatment, what's the side effects, how much does it cost for themselves, physically and psychologically, to cure after this, to heal themselves after these side effects. So this is one of the ways to help cancer patient and to improve the the treatment itself and our product.
Hmm. Uh, so this podcast is really well. It's actually called Innostars Talks. So it's connected with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And if we're looking at EIT Health, it is quite well known for its morning health talks program as well, which is really a platform where leading healthcare experts and innovators meet to discuss the most pressing health challenges across Central and Eastern Europe, Baltics included in that case. These discussions have been very successful, and they have been held in Lithuania for quite some time already, and they have been co-organized by the Lithuanian University of Health Sciences, which happens to be an EIT health representative. This year, the initiative resulted in an impressive outcome. What I'm talking about is the publication of a white paper. Could you tell us a bit more about that white paper and what was your role in that project?
Well, I believe you are talking about the data pilot project and the white paper which was issued after this project. There was a pilot to help startups, to help businesses to use secondary used healthcare data, anonymized healthcare data. So we were the participants. There must be two startups participating. As I know, we were one of these startups. We were working with the National Data Agency, Lithuanian Health Science University experts. We got the data from eHealth system, fully anonymized. How many cancers are um, how many cancers are happening in every year, how they are treated, what side effects were collected, how these side effects um, impact the pathway of the treatment, how much the cancer patients should pay for themselves to treat the side effects, how much does it cost for a healthcare system itself or Lithuanian healthcare system. So that was the aim of the participation of these in this data pilot project. And as I know, it's continued to data pilot 2.0 version. So other startups, other businesses, they can apply and to participate there to work with the National Data Agency to get the anonymized data to work their algorithms, businesses, and improvements of the products.
Mhm. So the white paper also, highlights issues like limited access to anonymized health data and procedural barriers for startups. From your perspective, what are the main obstacles to using real health data in innovation, and how can that issue be actually solved?
From our perspective, we had an barrier to get this data out of the from the hospital or healthcare system. We asked for the governmental organizations, for hospitals as well, and they said that they don't have the specific procedure to issue this kind of um, sensitive data or non-sensitive at all data. But anyways, they can't help us, and this project helped us to finally get the data and to work with it to improve our solution. Um, it's To solve it, it comes from the business part and from the government part. I think government should be more flexible or just adjust the laws and how the businesses can get these can get and use e-health system data. And from the startup business perspective, companies should be prepared to have their procedures, to have their documents, to have a specific person dedicated to work with data, to have a knowledge, to prove that you have enough knowledge to use this data safely, and you will not do any harm for the data holder or for a patient or for data itself as an object. I think it would be solved with the common alignment or discussion and to finding out the needs and expectations.
Hmm. Yeah. So you've really explained, how a startup could be prepared. So, for example, by having someone who is responsible for the data and knows exactly how to deal with that. When you mentioned, the public sort of sector, or hospitals and the people who are responsible for holding and collecting and holding the data, you said they should be more flexible. What do you mean by that? Do you mean they should be their mindset should be kind of more open to innovation, or should they somehow be prepared as well?
I think both of them, a bit more open for innovation, application of innovations. While some hospitals are university hospitals or institutes, cancer centers, so they have the background of the research, studies, innovations. While other hospitals are hospitals doing the procedures, services, so they are not open for. They can't do any any research or the scientific study there. So
Mm.
that kind of opening the mind, the understanding that this kind of innovation, sharing the data may improve their own operations, may help them to work more efficient itself. So it's understanding as well, and the procedural thing to prepare these procedures to apply to get the data.
Do you think that a simple solution would be to perhaps appoint a person who is responsible for kind of managing, the data at hospitals? And I'm not talking about the research hospitals, but more about the hospitals that are really responsible for performing the procedures as opposed to doing research.
Yeah, I think it would work when you have a specific person dedicated for data analytics, data collection, storing, all these GPDR things. So it's much easier. When we ask for medical doctors to collect, to store, to fill the data, so they have a lot of things to do. They have to cure the patient first. Yeah. So additional work is not the thing they are happy to do. So I think hospital or other organization, they should just reduce this workload to help them serve, to help them to do their original work, helping patients.
Yeah. So we've been talking about the Baltics already. Let's focus more on Lithuania. So we know that the country has become one of the most active medtech hubs in the region. How do you see, the startup ecosystem in the country or in the region more broadly evolve, and what makes it sort of unique compared to Western Europe? You mentioned some of the things already, like the smaller market, but maybe there's something more that we could uh, relate to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's booming. In general, it's booming, and I'm very happy about this because I see many healthcare, um, medtech, AI related to medtech startups is getting more and more investment. They are seen. They have a network, so that's very promising thing. Uh, As a medical physicist, I usually worked with the standard companies, big companies made devices, as you know, like General Electric or Siemens. So I'm very happy to see other smaller companies coming, trying to come to the market to offer some new things, new gadgets, new tools to use. Uh, Comparing to Western, Western, let's say, other countries, startup environment. I think that Baltic countries, Lithuania itself, we are more developing AI machine learning at this moment, more software related than the hardware. I think it's one of the good ways to use our brain and knowledge to boost the startup field. And I was participating in a very first Konas startup accelerator, the program, in 2018, and there was uh, only like 10 or 15 startups participating. And now when I come to the Konas startup event, which is usually happening almost every week, a gathering event to have a coffee or a beer. So there are many people coming, many interested in to be a startupper, to be an entrepreneur, and many companies are coming. So in this last 6 7 years, the whole innovation environment is just boosting,
Mm.
booming.
Very good, very good. You mentioned investment. So if you look at BrachyDose, you also raised more than 500,000
Yeah.
euros from several Baltic investors. What are your next milestones for 2026 and beyond? And how do you plan to scale the startups beyond Lithuania?
Well, our biggest milestone is to get to the market, to the Baltics market as fast as we can to get this CEMDR. It's going on, the whole pathway is going on, but it's not so fast as we would like to. And then we have a plan to scale to Germany. So we do have a partners there, and to all countries which has actually good healthcare, high healthcare quality, and good, well developed healthcare systems as France, Italy, Spain. So that's our plan to go to Europe, and in a long term perspective, we have a plan to scale to United States. Some preparations are going on now because it's not for the next year, but anyways, we do the preparations very early.
Well, you need time to prepare, and that's probably, I mean, it's always better to be prepared than have to do things at the very last moment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Neringa, thank you so much for this conversation, and best of luck for the development of the startup and the international expansion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.